The Devil Blues by I Know a Man on AO3. Episode 13, Chapter 8, Aftermath. Izuku slams his head against his desk. Seriously, how could he have been so stupid? He's a police officer, for God's sakes. He should know the difference between what's wrong and right. And last night was definitely wrong. He should know better than to sleep with someone who is essentially his student. Sure, it's only for 2 weeks, but the fact of the matter is, Bakugo is his mentee, and Izuku his mentor. And what they did was... Izuku lets out a strained groan. He really shouldn't have slept with the man. It's not illegal to do so, but still, it was wrong. But also so good? Izuku hates to admit it, especially in his current situation, when he's trying to grapple with his morals. But last night had been just what he needed. It's not as if he didn't already know Bakugo was a fiercey person, but he hadn't counted on how exactly that fierceness would extend into the bedroom. The man approached sex with the same confidence he did everything else. His hands had been rough and demanding, his lips soft and pushing. And Izuku had been a mess. He'd long since known that he was horribly attracted to dominant figures, and Bakugo was as dominant as they came. Really, it's no surprise they gravitated towards each other with full blows, and even less of a surprise that they had ended up between the sheets together. Izuku remembers every explicit detail of how the blonde had handled his urges. The whole experience had been a whirlwind of outrageous pleasure, and Izuku can't remember the last time he'd lost control of himself like that. Last night had been very much needed. Something is suddenly slammed down onto Izuku's desk, causing him to jerk up. He notices it's a cup of steaming something with a weathered hand around it. Trailing his gaze up to the hand, to the arm, and further reveals the limb belonging to... coffee. Bakugo grunts. He'll definitely need it. Yep, none other than the very man who's been occupying Izuku's mind all morning. Fighting down his oncoming blush, Izuku accepts the cup. You think highly of yourself. I meant to help get you through the day. Bakugo clarifies as he takes his usual seat, a satisfied smirk hanging on the corner of his lips. But glad to know my performance is still weighing on your mind. Izuku chooses to ignore the comment in favor of sipping at his drink. As soon as the hot liquid spills down his throat, Izuku feels himself relax marginally. Black coffee, 2 sugars. No better way to start the morning. Bakugo takes a sip of his own cup. So what are the plans for today? Right, work, the case. This Izuku knows. Besides, it'll help steer his mind clear of more explicit memories. We'll be visiting Shinso again today. Bakugo freezes with his coffee midway to his mouth. Shinso? Why? Well, in lieu of our recent discoveries, it would be best to ask him for information before proceeding any further. Like I said, he's unfortunately used to finding himself near criminal activity, and because of that he might be able to know something about the Nayama gang that we don't. Bakugo levels Izuku with a steady look, features drown into a frown that really shouldn't be causing Izuku's insides to flutter. You sure that guy's a trustworthy source? I'm sure of it. Izuku promises as he shoots out of his seat. The act causes Bakugo to startle momentarily, and Izuku winces from the sudden pain in his backside. But they both recover quickly without either one of them noticing the other's reaction. Also, it's best we get to him before he leaves for work. Bakugo snorts in disbelief. The guy actually has work? How do you think he affords rent? Izuku asks as he pulls on his jacket. Bakugo shrugs and replies with the degree of confidence that Izuku finds displeasing. Gentleman of the night. Izuku finds himself annoyed at Bakugo's words about his friend, but decides not to fight in full force. Instead, he zips up his jacket and comments. If he did that, he'd be able to afford a penthouse. Guy is beautiful. With that, he leaves the desk in favor of heading towards the lift. Behind him, he could hear the rushing scraping of a chair against the floor, and hurried footfalls following him. You think you're so clever, don't you? Bakugo splits, having fallen into step with Izuku. Izuku presses the button for the ground floor, before flashing the blonde a smile. The cleverest. The door opens with the very next instant, with a soft ping. Izuku swiftly sidesteps, the blonde grumbling audibly from behind him. It's the most clever. Bakugo mutters as he trails after Izuku. Idiot. Probably just missed him. Fuck. Izuku sighs after the second succession of knocks on Shinso's door. He rests a hand on his hips as he hangs his head in thought. Bakugo turns to him with a raised brow. Never heard you swear before. Izuku admits an amazed huff and peers at the man. You're surprised? Bakugo tilts his head to the side before admitting. Kinda turned on. A mild flush suddenly covers Izuku's entire face. Not now! He hisses through clenched teeth, though his bright cheeks clearly betray his words. In an attempt to change the topic, he instantly suggests, let's follow up on Ida's lead instead. In what way? Bakugo asks as he turns on his heel to follow Izuku, who is already striding down the hallway. It's not escaped his notice that the blonde has been on extremely good behavior today. Or, well, good for Bakugo. And Izuku guesses it's due to the very recent encounter. That's about as much as he spends thinking of the reason for the man's behavior before shoving it all back to the very recess of his mind. Today, he will not be entertaining any thoughts of that. Nope. Today will be all about the case. We'll head back to the station and continue sifting through all the information we have on the Noara gang. If we can work quickly and thoroughly enough, we may be able to utilize the information in our favor and somehow figure out how exactly we'll approach finding their headquarters and bringing down their operations. Bakugo nods along. Solid. They don't exchange any further words for the entirety of the trip down the building stairs, through the entry hallway, and out onto the street. It's only when they hear Izuku's car parked around the corner that the silence is broken. Oh, and just so you know, we're off tomorrow. Izuku mentions flamboyantly. Bakugo turns to him. He doesn't pull an expression of any kind, but Izuku knows the man's inquires further explanation. It's my day off tomorrow, and as such, you don't have to come into the precinct either, since there'll be no one to work the case with you. Didn't realize police officers got day offs. The blonde commented offhandedly. Izuku rubs the back of his neck. We do, but we don't enjoy them. It's hard to switch off from the job when you've gotten into the habit of consistently working. Yeah. Bakugo breathes, then asks, what about glasses? What? What about glasses? Could he help with the case? Izuku continues to stare blankly at the blonde. Sorry, who? Literally the only person with glasses at your precinct? All of a sudden, realization dawns on Izuku. Oh, you mean the sergeant? Bakugo shrugs. Possibly, I didn't exactly memorize anyone's name. Right, and I expected nothing less from you. Izuku shakes his head as he pulls out his car keys. With a single press of the button, the car unlocks, and he and Bakugo slide into their seats. You could ask him for help, but I don't know if he'll be busy with his own work. If you want, though, you could come in tomorrow just to be safe and check with Sergeant himself. Bakugo grunts his response. Whatever it was, Izuku probably doesn't have to worry about it. He's not in tomorrow, so whatever the blonde gets up to in the precinct during his absence is not his fault. He thinks. He hopes so. He just puts his key into the engine and turns on the car when Bakugo asks. If we're off tomorrow, you want to hang out? Izuku's so stunned by the question, he accidentally stalls the car. Fuck. He hurriedly glances between the steering wheel and Bakugo several times before setting his gaze on the blonde. Hang out? That's what I said. Bakugo states blatantly. Like, hang out. Are you deaf? He questions indigenously. Yeah, like hang out. Like a date. Izuku's heart jumps up his throat. A rush of emotions course through him. and he splits out the very first thing that comes to his mind. I've actually got plans for tomorrow. He doesn't really, but either his mind, heart, or suddenly implicational fear is taking control right now. Bakugo stares at him for the longest of time. So long, in fact, that Izuku can feel his body gradually tensing up and the palms of his hands moisten with sweat. Eventually, though, the man speaks. Huh. Izuku strains the urge of wanting to wipe his hands over his trousers. What? Nothing. Bakugo answers before turning to look ahead. Enjoy your day tomorrow. Thanks. Izuku replies, awkwardly, and since he's got nothing better to say, adds on. You too. He doesn't receive a reply, but at this stage, Izuku's not sure he's even able to register one. Ignoring the slightest shake of his hand, he starts up the car once more, the engine humming into life, to fill up the silence of the car. Izuku's tempted to increase the sound by turning on the radio, but he feels it would be a dead giveaway of his discomfort. With nothing else to say, Izuku pulls out of the parking space and heads back to the precinct with full speed. I'm sorry. Did Bakugo just... Did Bakugo just ask Izuku out? Like... What? What? What's the next one called? The next one is, Confidential Matters. Okay. So there was actually certain parts in the story where I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just take out those 2 sentences because I feel like those 2 sentences are too explicit for my liking. So occasionally I'm gonna do that. I feel like there probably was a lot more sentences I could have taken out, but I only discovered that I could do that after a certain sentence where I was like, yeah, nope, I really draw the line there. Like, the other ones are hopping and dancing on the line. That one crossed. No. So there would be times where I will just skip a whole part. So if you really want to enjoy this fanfic, I mean, I guess from here on out, it'll just be explicit points. If there is smut, I will say. Otherwise, just expect it to be very explicit sayings, but not necessarily smut. I really hope there's no smut. Like, I really, really hope there's none, like, at all. Also, I'm 25 minutes late to sending the fucking text message. Fuck. Please don't wake up. Please don't wake up. You better be dead asleep, my dude. There you go. That is nice. Sorry. But yeah, this is... I'm still mind-boggled. Bakugo asked him out? I'm sorry, how did we go from 0 to 100? How... Well... It really did go from 0 to 100. Oh my god. The strangers to lovers was not fucking joking around. It's literally strangers to lovers. What the... Okay. Also, today is still the 15th. I'm still very much heartbroken over Banana Fish. Fuck, every time I think about it, I start to cry. Fuck. Why did I think about it? Why have I cursed myself so much? As always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.